What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the video, and make sure you leave a comment. Most of you are probably waking up, man, to the news that, 10 people lost their lives in Buffalo, New York at a grocery store. My condolences go out to those people, man, to their families. Just a sad, sad day, man. It hits close to home because it's close to where I'm from. But it also hits close to home because it's crazy when you can't even go out to a grocery store with your family, man, and go shopping and have something bad happen to you. And, we've seen this stuff happen in that church with that Dylan Ruth kid, or Ruth, whatever the hell his name was. We've seen, the stuff happen at the country music concert a few years ago. Just like, wow, man, where is the human decency, right? Like, wow. And I was going to put this video out yesterday, and somehow I erased it and lost it. So we're putting this video out today. But we're going to talk about prison escapes. I mean, it's all over the news, right? Like, people are starting to get with the business. Like, man, I'm not sticking around here no more. I'm out of here. This ain't like that movie with Martin Lawrence. What was that called? Life or something? I mean, cats are like, yo, I got nothing to lose. I'm out of here. You seen that with your boy Casey White and the cop. They take off. They eventually get caught. She does herself in. He's back in jail. He's going probably to one of the most dangerous prisons in Alabama. They might bury him under the prison, man, after what he did. In their mind, they're like, this cat manipulated the cop. He did what he did, man. He embarrassed us. So, he might be buried under the prison. You might be talking about him 20, 30 years from now, talking about, damn, he's like Thomas Silverstein. He's like Troy Kell sitting in the hole for 20, 30, 40 years. But anyway, we're going to get into Texas. This cat takes off from Texas. Gonzalo Lopez. And let me tell you something. Gonzalo, in my opinion, is definitely a dangerous dude. Like, definitely. Cat's in there serving life for murder, capital murder. Now they're saying that he had ties to the Mexican mafia. I don't know, probably the Texas Mexican mafia. But when you're sitting in prison, and don't think for a minute that this stuff don't go through your mind. Because I thought about it. Most of you know I served almost 20 years in federal prison. And there were times where I was like, man, I got to get out of here somehow, some way. And as I started to get older and you lose your appeals, you start thinking like, wow, there's no other way out. So close yet so far away. You're looking through that fence, man. And you're like, this isn't my life. This can't be my life. It's like taking a dog and you stick a dog in a cage, or you stick the dog in a fence and somehow the dog figures out how to get out, or he might run and jump over the fence somehow. Or I've seen dogs climb fences straight up and get out of the yard. My mother's dog climbed the fence and got out of the yard. So sometimes when you're sitting in prison, you're like, I got life. I'm never getting out of here anyway. What can these people possibly do to me? I'm here for the rest of my life. My life is over. This is it. Concrete, steel, razor wire, loudness, disrespect. And I know in Texas, it ain't easy. Down there sweating like crazy. I know some of them prisons ain't got no fans, they ain't got no air conditioning. And you're just there for the rest of your life like, nah. And sometimes I think people think in their mind, like, I'd rather be dead. I'd be watching those National Geographic shows with the escapes on them, and you might see, like, these other little, like, crime shows. And I'm like, damn, these cats are smart as hell. Like them cats in Clinton Correctional Facility that took off. Yeah, they threw the hook, line, and sinker to the chick. She bit. They reeled her in. They used her. But those dudes had, like, an elaborate plan. Like, they put this thing together, like, and I was just like, wow, how could you do something like that? Like, that was beyond my comprehension. How they drilled through the wall and they made it out through all the piping, and then they get out there and old Joyce Mitchell doesn't show up. But them cats had this plan, man. It was soundproof. But the only part that wasn't soundproof was the chick. And I bet you at the last moment she got scared, like, man, these two cats are killing people. I feel like they love me and I love them. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to show up. Maybe she smartened up at the last moment. Because I'll bet you, man, I'd bet my last dollar that them cats, they had no love for Joyce. Your boy Casey in Alabama, maybe he had some love for the cop. Maybe he was like, starting to fall in love. Because, when you're sitting in a prison cell and this woman's giving you attention, I'm telling you from personal experience, woman's giving you attention, you start feeling like, damn, man, this is all I got. And I can tell you that Oh boy, he probably didn't have much but his mama. That's it. And when he hooked up with the cop, he's in the county jail. He starts kicking it. So I'm going to tell you how it happens. I've been in county jails like that, these little country county jails. Sometimes the feds would put you in different county jails out in the country. Oh boy was out in a country county jail. Not that many people probably in the jail. She's an older woman. She's a little bit lonely. He starts kicking it with her. How you doing today? Probably starts with that. Oh, you look nice. And maybe, once or she's like, don't talk to me like that because I've seen it. You can't say that stuff to me. And he's like, whatever. And he keeps pushing. And she starts feeling good about herself. You look beautiful today. She stops telling him, hey, don't say that no more. She's starting to feel him like, man, he's attracted to me. And maybe she starts thinking in her mind that, he's kind of attractive to her. He did look like, Aaron Rodgers a little bit, didn't he? And, that relationship starts to flourish. It starts to blossom. He goes to prison. He starts penning these letters to her, telling her, how beautiful she is. He starts opening up his heart, talking about all the mistakes that he's made in his life and how he regrets them. And then he starts telling her, I think I'm falling in love with you. And she starts saying, well, you know what? I think I'm falling in love with you too. And in his mind, I'm sure he knows I'm going back to this county jail. And in the beginning, his plan was probably like, yo, I want to work this chick and I'm getting out of jail. I'm getting out. She's going to be my key. She's the boss down there at the county jail. I'll be back down there. And me and her, we're going to make something happen and we're going to get out of here. But in the meantime, while all that stuff's going, he's in prison. He's a lonely man. He's feeling sad inside. She's showing him attention. And he starts feeling like he's falling in love with her. I'm telling you, I've seen plenty of dudes, man, jump on pen pal sites and, they're like, yo, man, I'm doing this. I'm hustling. And the next thing you know, they're like, man, I love her. And you're like, wow, bro, you love her in 2 months? You don't even know her. He's like, man, I love her. But anyway, we're going to talk about Gonzalo Lopez. And we'll talk about one of my, I'm not going to say, well, maybe, you might think he's my cousin, Cedric Joseph Marks. He was an MMA fighter. He's really not my cousin, but he escaped from a Texas prison bus too. But first, we're going to get into Gonzalo Lopez. Gonzalo's serving a couple life sentences, got nothing to lose. He's on the prison bus, and this is the thing that I just can't understand. How do you stab a cop on the prison bus and escape? See, down there in Texas, they might be doing the old country-ass system, right, where you get on these old prison buses like you've seen on these movies, and, they're not really too secure. Maybe there's not even a gate up front. And dude's just sitting there with handcuffs on, like, with all the other people, right? And you could probably picture that in your mind. They're on the prison bus, the old hitting the bumps. And you're like, oh, yeah, this is horrible. I don't know how this man escapes from a prison bus. But I'll tell you this. When you're in the feds, when you get on that bus, there's a metal gate, right? We walk on the bus, we're shackled, we're cuffed. They open this gate, we walk in, we sit down. But in the back, there's also this like steel little room, I guess, compartment that this other dude's sitting in. And he's got a shotgun, and he's back there. There's no way you can actually get to this cat. No way possible. And then in the front, you got the driver. He's got his pistol on his side. You got the lieutenant sitting in a side seat. He's got his pistol on his side. And if you think you're escaping from a federal prison bus, you're sadly mistaken. Sometimes, which I used to be like, damn, they'd have a dude on there that wasn't sitting behind the gate with us with no cuffs on. And the first time or two, I'm like, what the hell? And then I realized, oh, this dude's going to a camp. He's low security. So they use him to come down and pass out the bags and give out, water or whatever they're giving out. A lot of times they got these little cups that they got back in the back with a cooler of water. The water tastes like it came out of a garden hose, so you don't even want to drink it anyway. But really, man, on a federal prison bus, you got no access to the cops. But I guess in Texas you do. So check this out, right? They're saying dude's got connections to the Mexican mafia. Let's go ahead and read a little bit about my boy, man. Well, not my boy, not anyone's boy. This dude's a dangerous cat. An escaped murderer with alleged ties to the Mexican mafia was added Friday to the Texas Most Wanted Fugitives list. As more than 300 law enforcement personnel searched for the man who fled from a prison bus Thursday after breaking out of his restraints and attacking an officer. How do people get out of them restraints, man? Honestly, I've been on that prison bus where I was able to slip the cuff off because they didn't put it on tight enough. Thank God. And I'm not telling you to tighten them, man, to the bone. I'm not telling you to tighten them at all. Because that shit sucks, man. Being handcuffed like that, and you're on man, I've been on 10-hour, 11-hour bus rides. Like, wow. Where you're like, whew, you're sweating. I drove from Oklahoma to Louisiana. I've drove from, I think it was Atlanta, all the way to Kentucky, Big Sandy. on a prison bus. Most of the time I was black boxed, but there's been a few times when I wasn't black boxed. And I actually was able to slip out of the cuffs. So I'm sure this cat, you know, he slipped out of the cuffs somehow. He may have made a handcuff key. There's ways of making handcuff keys. People have probably already done these videos, but I can make one to show you guys how to get out of handcuffs. It's not that tough getting out of handcuffs. But he gets out of the handcuffs and he stabs the guard. Authorities are offering $22,500 in reward money. That's not much for a tip, but someone will definitely collect that $22,500 for a tip leading to the apprehension of 46-year-old Gonzalo Lopez, who was serving 2 life sentences for a 2006 capital murder conviction and a separate attempted capital murder charge. Well, boy wasn't playing no games, man. He was on that gangster shit. He had killed a man with a pickaxe in 2005 and attempted to shoot a sheriff's deputy the year before, officials said. Wow. I cannot reiterate enough how dangerous this man is and how the public's help is needed in locating him, said Robert Hurst, a Texas Department of Criminal Justice spokesperson. Yeah, he's pretty dangerous. If anybody has seen him, if anybody has any reason to believe he's been on their property, please contact local law enforcement. Lopez is 6 feet tall and weighs 185 pounds with tattoos on his back, abdomen, and chest, according to the Texas Department of Public Safety. So he got his pictures out there. He also has a burn scar on the right side of his neck. I wonder how that happened. Lopez is from the Rio Grande Valley and affiliated with the Mexican Mafia. They definitely throw the Mexican Mafia thing in there, right? Like, this dude ain't already dangerous enough when you were like, hey, he killed a couple people, man, so, and he's shooting at the police. But he's down with that Mexican Mafia, too. I'm assuming probably the Mexican Mafia. They got 300 cats out there looking for him, man. Some of you guys might not know who Bucky Phillips is, but he was another cat from where I'm from that escaped. And this man was on the run, man. He was shooting at the cops. I think he shot one. You know, I think he got through the roof. Like, he used a can opener and dug through the roof of the kitchen. He got through the shingles. He got through the wood. And he's like, I'll see you later. They were putting out T-shirts on this cat, man, telling him, run, Bucky, run. Like old Forrest, right? Life's like a box of chocolates. But old Bucky was on the run, man, for a long time. Ended up getting caught. And this is one of the dudes where I was like, this dude's going to go out in the blaze of glory. And a lot of times, man, you hear dudes always talk. They talk that junk, man, where they're like, you know what? If I make it, I'm holding court in the streets. And I've heard people talk about escaping and like, man, listen, when they say they're holding court in the streets, you know what that means, right? It's balls to the wall. They're shooting it out. And most of these cats, I'm thinking Bucky Phillips is going out hard. I thought Mr. White the other day was going to go hard. And they surrender. I'm like, wow, dude, you got life. You're going to the Alabama Department of Corrections where they're killing people, dude. I mean, like, it's hard living. Probably, his hard living's probably going to be a lot different like we spoke about in the beginning of the video, right? His hard living's going to be locked in that damn cell. So ain't no one probably going to be able to get to him. But I don't know how he went out the way that he went out. So he stressed that members of the public should not try to take on the inmate themselves. I don't like using the word inmate. Prisoner. If he's managed to get someplace else, please contact law enforcement there. Tell them that you think you've seen this escaped convict and you want to get him in custody. Do not try and engage him yourself. He's just too darn dangerous. He's too darn dangerous. Don't go grabbing that boy. Let me tell you something. Do you think someone's really going to try to grab old Mr. Lopez? Mr. Lopez ain't playing no games, man. Ain't no one trying to grab this dude. The transport bus with 16 inmates on board. Damn. The transport bus with 16 prisoners on board had been traveling on Highway 7 when Lopez escaped his restraints and entered the protected driving compartment, Hurst said. So maybe they do got that little gate up there, right? But how the hell does he get through that? Are the cops lazy? Do they leave it unlocked? The driver, Officer Randy Smith, managed to stop the vehicle while being assaulted by Lopez, and a second officer, Jimmy Bringer, exited the back of the bus and shot out the back tires while his colleagues and Lopez were struggling outside. Shoots out the tires so old boy can't take off in the bus, huh? I wonder if that's part of their training. Like, look, if dude escapes, shoot out the tires, man. Are you serious? Then Lopez got back on the bus and drove it about another mile down the road with its back tires shot out, Hurst said. The other prisoners never got off the bus. I wonder if there was any cats on that bus like, damn, man, I got life. I should probably take off, but I ain't taking off with him. I know that cat. He's part of the Mexican Mafia. I ain't messing with that dude. I don't know. Maybe somebody wanted to go and they're like, nah, I'm cool. Then Lopez got back on the bus, okay. As Lopez fled the bus, Bringer fired with his service weapon as well as a shotgun, Hearst said at a media briefing Thursday. So Lopez jumps on the bus. He starts driving. He's got all these dudes in the back. He's like, hey, boys, we're going for a ride. He drives about a mile to get away. He's like, this thing ain't working. They shot out the tires. So I guess, part of their training is, shoot out the tires so people like him don't jump up in the navigation seat, start driving away on you. I guess that's so they can probably contain you, keep you in this area. They don't want you to get away. They want to keep you in as small area as they possibly can, as fast as they can. They're going to try to get there and help the other guys. As Lopez fled the bus, we do not know if the inmate was hit by any of these shots. Last we saw him, he was fleeing across the cow pasture west of Centerville. Think he found a horse? Jumped on a horse and took off? He got away. Asked about forecasts of close to 100-degree weather Saturday, Hearst said he expected such conditions would make it harder for the felon. Definitely 100 degrees out, man. You're out on the run. Probably thirsty as hell. Where you going to get some water at, man? Maybe you're going to jump out into a lake. Hearst said that Lopez's white prison uniform had not yet been found, but it was still possible he could have changed his clothes. I wonder how the hell he changed his clothes. Pull something off a clothesline? Highway 7 between Interstate 45 and Marquez was closed, and the public was still also being asked to avoid Highway 79 between Buffalo and Marquez, he said. So my boy Lopez, he's out on the run right now, right? They got a 22,500. I keep saying my boy, man. Lopez ain't my boy. I don't know Lopez. But anyway, Lopez is out on the run. It's hot as hell. What do you think he's doing, man? He might have been watching a lot of episodes of Naked and Afraid, and he figured it out. He figured out how to brave the weather, how to keep them skeeters off him, right? Wonder if he's got a bug net. I couldn't be out there in the wild like that with mosquitoes and bugs all over me. That would drive me crazy, man. I might walk back to the bus. But this isn't the first time that this stuff happened. Like I said, this other cat, Cedric Joseph Marks, 44, he ran away from a Texas prison transport van while it was stopped at a McDonald's. Marks was being taken from a prison in Michigan after being captured by U.S. Marshals on a warrant for a burglary of a home. I think this was in 2019, right? He too was in his restraints, but after he escaped, he was able to get out of his shackles. Lieutenant Dorsey McGinnis with the Conroe Police Department said during a news conference that 2 employees from the transport service and 9 other prisoners were in the van at the time. We do believe there was still 1 guard in the van or near the van, McGinnis said when asked whether Marks was being supervised. They ain't going to tell you that they both went into McDonald's. Got a Happy Meal, came out, and old Marks was on the run. This dude's an MMA fighter, man. Lieutenant Scott Spencer with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office tweeted Marks had been captured after an exhausting 9-hour manhunt involving multiple Montgomery County state and federal law enforcement agencies. Marks faced charges in multiple killings. Oh, Marks was a dangerous fella too, huh? Including the deaths of Michael Swearingen, 32, and Jenna Scott, 28, in Temple, Texas, in January. Marks has been an MMA fighter for more than 19 years, according to MMA Fighter Database, a middleweight fighter who also goes by the name Spider-Man. Damn, Spider-Man. He probably climbing fences and everything on that, 9-hour takeoff, man, climbing walls. No wonder why it took a while to catch him, man. Messing with Spider-Man. And then he knew where you were at because he had spider senses, right? Marks has a record of 31 wins, 28 losses. 31 wins and 28 losses. Holy shit. If you get beat up 28 times, man, you probably should have stopped around 10. Right? You get 10 losses, man, like, I'm done with this. This thing's over with. My man's got 28 losses. You think he's going to get beat up a lot in prison? Holy, go in there and talk about, man, I'm an MMA fighter. Some dudes in the beginning are like, man, I ain't messing with Marks. Marks knows how to fight, man. He's in the UFC. Was he in the UFC or was he just one of them backyard fighters? I don't know, man, but Marks knows that thing. And then one time, there's going to be some soft-ass dude in the unit that Marks is trying to push around, and dude's going to be pissed. He's like, man, I don't care about Marks. He's going to kick Marks' ass. And then everyone's going to be like, man, I should have been whooped him. You see dudes like that in prison, too. I know this is about prison escape. But sometimes we see things like that. But anyway, just a little something on, prison escapes on this cat that took off. Definitely a dangerous dude. We got some good things in the works this week. Hopefully, everybody enjoys it. If you haven't already, man, share the channel. Make sure you smile. And make sure you have a good day. Blood on the Razor Wire TV with respect. Until tomorrow, we're out.